Hey, what's going on? It's me, Brian Bauer, back with a new guest on the channel today. It's none other than my buddy, Derryl V. He has an awesome YouTube channel and all that kind of stuff. Me and him have been at least in a handful of videos at this point and have worked together and whatnot. Derryl's, like I said, he's a really cool YouTuber who talks a lot about gear and stuff. I think we will be getting into that today. So I'd like to welcome everybody. Derryl V. How's it going, dude?
Hey, Brian. It's good to see you.
I mean, through webcam, you know. It sucks. Last time I was in Toronto. I'm just drinking coffee, by the way. Real professional. But last time I was in Toronto, it was just before I kind of knew who you were and stuff too. And then like later on, like, geez, I think it was less than a year. I know you were in my shred collab, so that was really cool. So
that's right. And I think we met on Discord first and then we went on to the shred collab.
Yes, we did. We met through the Ola England Discord.
Yeah, that's where pretty much we met everyone.
Man, that was a place to meet a lot of people back.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, it still is in a sense, but back then it was like the community was a little bit different. And it was, I don't know, there was just a lot of good personalities in there, and sometimes you just met people we clicked with. You were one of those people. You were in the voice chat, I think, with me and Robin, and I forget who else would have been there.
Robin, I think there was Eric.
Likely.
He was one of the earliest ones, and then that's when the first Ola Jam came out, and I think that's when we started to this whole collab thing took off.
Yeah.
Where you made videos, I think Alessio made one, and then after that, then Lee Armitage made one.
Oh, no, I think you mean Alessandro.
Alessandro? Did I say
Alessandro
that?
Arzili.
I said it wrong.
Alessio's the drummer from the X Japan cover, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But Alessio is actually the only guy I ever met in person from that collab. That's how I met him at a show. But Alessandro Arzili, also a great YouTuber. I should try to get him on here sometime. Time zones are just whack. You start dealing with the other side of the planet. Most people at this point have been on this side of the ocean. First two from England. The first Ola Jam, I wasn't actually there. I think it was the second one. I watched it, and Jinte, who I've also worked with, he's like, "Oh, just join and come watch," because I thought his stuff was cool. He played different. He wasn't like the chugga guys. If you are to join the Ola England Discord community, keep in mind a lot of the people are like fans of The Haunted. Obviously, Ola absolutely. England, they're chug fans. You know, it's going to be a lot of Swedish metal, you know, and stuff like that. And Jinte is like the one guy. He's a punk rocker. He's not a metal guy.
I've seen his material actually, and I like how he presents his music, you know, with the drums that he's presented with, right? So I do keep an eye on his channel, and it's quite unique to hear his take on it.
His take on it is different, and I like it. But he's like, join, and I joined in this. The rest is kind of just history. Even though I'm not there at the moment, I mean, I'm still like involved, like on the outskirts, probably just like on like the other places, which is, I mean, you know, it's just the way the internet works. But exactly. No, I just talked to Jinte. Geez, I think just back on Sunday. It wasn't that long ago. So he's back at doing music quite a bit more again and stuff, which is really cool. He got
his own studio actually. Like he got his own place.
Yeah, he does. Member Jam. You were in Member Jam 1, right?
Very first one. That's right.
Yeah, and then there was Member Jam 2, and I remember. Man, Robin put a lot of work into those first member jams too. Like he would literally sit there. He would wait up for the time zones. I think he learned that from the first one. As the first one became like basically Sweden, and probably you. And then the second, I don't know about the second one, but the third one, I was just under the wire. Like he's like, first three people messaged me, get in. And I was like, oh shit, missed it. I think I was like fourth or something.
That's right. It wasn't even like a lottery based. That's how early the Discord community was, because it was still new. Yep. Right. So it's like, oh, let me know if you want in. And then whoever sends the message first will basically in the video. But funny enough, though, is that during that first jam video, someone actually dropped out. And then Robin messages me. He's like, Derryl, do you want to join on this? I'm just like, are you sure? I mean, this is really last minute. He goes, yeah, we need someone to fill in. Come on in. And I was like, okay, there you go. And that's how I got into first member jam.
And there you go. The rest is history, you know?
Exactly.
I missed the third one. And I remember it's like, oh, it all filled up. I'm like, well, who got it? It was like Lee. I don't remember who it was. It was like Lee. I want to say it might have been. I don't know. Was it Ashley? I can't remember. And it's just like, oh crap! They're like two of these people. It's like two of these people are like subscribers of mine anyway. I'm like, okay, world gets small after a little while.
It did.
Anyway, I remember the fourth one. I still remember there was a message earlier in the day. I was like a long ways from home. Said, be watching for the member jam. I'm like, okay, cool. Missed the first go of it. I was eating crepes at this place called Naked Crepe. It's awesome. I won't get off topic. We'll try not to. But damn, the place is good. Down in Wolfville, Nova Scotia. And I was home later that night doing something. I remember Robin set the thing out, and I was like, me. And he's like, you're in. I'm like, I was like shaking. I was excited, man. And had to do my video take twice. But, you know, how did it feel for you when you were going to be on a big YouTuber's channel? I don't know if that was your first time, but it was my first time.
Well, it was definitely the first time, and but I didn't expect it, right? Because like I just joined the Discord community because one, I'm supporting like one of my favorite artists, right? I've been watching ever since like I think when he started like reviewing amps and gear, right? I just became an instant fan because I was like, how does Ola make everything sound so good? Right, and then he starts giving away like impulses and all that stuff. So I have to be in this.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that was the first time, and being on that, I was just like, I was like, wow, I'm really happy as a fan. I was to just even be on his channel. I thought that was just enough for me, right? I'm happy. I'm just more than happy to even just be on that.
Yeah, man. I was just like, man, this is such a cool thing, and I have to do it right. It was right before I get my good camera and stuff too, and
yeah.
I know my video was out of sync in the one I was in, but you can watch the one I did in the room. We're like, okay, just gonna send it. I think we already knew that we had a take that was gonna work, so we're just like, whatever. And then it's like, oh, like the nerves go away. So I just run a loop, like I just run a thing like about 10 goes of it, and been getting better at DAWs since then. And then it's like, okay, I find once you get your take, it's like, okay, this is cool. I can screw up the other ones. We'll just have fun. It's like, wait, this one's way better. And it was really cool. But then, I've got to do some a lot of other cool things since then. But that was just like more exciting than Christmas. As an adult,
absolutely.
You're just not excited about things anymore.
Then the whole after those member jams started, that's when, like I mentioned earlier, is that when I started to see other collaborations happen. And then the community just kept getting bigger and bigger and tighter.
It did, right? Yeah. I mean, that community, as far as I'm concerned, like, I mean, obviously Discords and stuff changed, but like the people that were there are still the same and still talking back and forth all the time. Everybody's kind of just became friends. It was just a place to find like-minded people. You don't even get that good on the street most of the time. Like if you go out somewhere like or school or something, like you meet people through school, different things. But this one was like, I don't know. There was just a magic about it. Just a lot of like-minded people, and it worked really well. So
it did.
And I mean,
it's definitely an awesome community of like-minded people. I mean, it's just hard to not get along with anyone there. At least that's what I, when I first joined. So
yeah, no, it's that's a thing. I mean, every so often you get like an online community, and not necessarily. I'm not really speaking so much for that one. I was telling you about an incident earlier from another community. It's just like every so often you run into people like, what the hell? But honestly, most of the time, I'd say most people are pretty good. They're really not going to cause any problems and stuff. But man, that place did have some pretty talented folks too.
Oh yeah, it shows in the member jams.
Exactly. So what's going on with you these days? What's happening with the YouTube channel?
Oh, ever since what is that? I've been getting like some companies calling me up, where they're saying like, it's like, hey Derryl, we have this pedal, do you want to demo it for us? And I'm just like, oh sure. So that's how it started. I was just like, it just happens by chance and by luck, because like I would basically, make a video and then someone would basically see it, and then I'll get like suddenly like an email from someone and say, hey, I really like that video that you did. Can you do a demo of this product that we're going to be releasing soon? And I said, sure, no problem. And it's been like that ever since. Or sometimes I'll reach out to another company that I like. Like, for example, there's a company that's also in Canada called Goptech. And I just did their boost pedal. it was, I just did like, a quick demo of it. I said, listen, I really like this pedal. Would you, if you'd like, hey, I can do this on your, on your website, or you can put this to show the features of it. They loved it so much. They said, hey, thank you so much, for presenting how the pedal works, because you did a really good job. And that's how it's been for the last month or so, just doing demos.
That's really awesome, man. And I see you got that cool thing on your desk here.
Well, oh, right.
Yeah.
I just got this recently, the GE 300 Lite, because I don't know if you might have seen my other videos. I started doing like tone matching of artists. I started with the Iron Maiden one.
I watched the Maiden one. Yes.
Yeah. And
that was
then,
really good.
Thank you. And then after that, I did the Crazy Train cover. So I tried to emulate Randy Rhoads' tone.
Okay.
I don't know if. And then now the third one. Yeah, go ahead.
I actually missed that one. I'm really sorry. I've missed everybody's video for last week. I've been busy, tired, and stuff. Recovered from the vaccine, so been a little bit, a bit hectic. So I've missed like almost everybody's YouTube videos for like last week. But that's not just because of a vaccine.
That gets in the way, man.
Yeah, that's because I work and I have things to do. But keep going.
Yeah. And now I'm just actually, everything that's set up here, I'm actually working on another tone, which I will probably release, I think maybe after this podcast, or after maybe in a day or two. It'll be a good one.
That'd be really cool, man. Yeah, no, it's got the lights and stuff there. It's definitely probably a competitor to something like the Helix or something by Line 6.
Yeah, it is a competitor. I just haven't tried the others. So, but because I am an artist with more, it's like, just give me whatever that you guys got. I'll be glad to just work on it, work with it, and then hopefully try to market it more, right?
Yeah. So you have an endorsement with Mower. How do I say more? Mower, like lawn mower.
That's right.
Okay, I don't know. It looks like Mower. Like, it'd be really cool if their logo's like a cow, but it's not.
I became an artist for them. Like, I think it's almost coming up to 2 years.
Oh wow, that's awesome, man. And but yeah, no, I just see that thing there. It looks pretty wicked. So one thing for people who don't know Derryl, he's kind of the master of taking a budget pedal, and with his little signal chain and whatever he does, that he can really match other artists' tone to get something really good that would make you think, oh, that's some really expensive stuff there. You told me once that you had somebody convinced you were using a rectifier and it wasn't.
Yes, it was this was once again on the Discord, where the rules were not in place, where hey, it's just chat only, no guitars. And at that time, we were all just shredding our own guitars during the voice chat.
I remember.
And then someone said, Derryl, that sounds awesome, man. What are you playing through? And I say, that sounds like a rectifier. And I was like, that's a metal zone. And they're like, no way, that's a metal zone. I said, yeah, it's a metal zone going through an IR loader.
Yep.
And that was it, because the radar or any IR, and it works as it's like what the majority of the tone anyway. Yeah, and it's going through the power section and through a certain microphone, and then it gives you the sound that it is. So if it went through a Mesa cab, that's the sound you're gonna get, because that's the 80% tone where it's coming from that particular IR. So that's where they kind of thought it was an actual Mesa, but it was just a metal zone going through an IR loader.
Yeah, and the IR is one of the most important parts of your tone, especially in the digital realm, because that's your speaker. For people who don't know what IR means, it means impulse response. It's basically a wave file that but it emulates a speaker and mic setup. And and basically you swap that out. It's proven on my channel, and I'm sure it's proven on yours many times, that that is part of the tone. A preamp's one thing, but it's really those speakers that make the big difference. Okay, I'm going to ask you one thing, because we have a list of questions, because for once in life, the other person put a lot of effort into this, more than I did coming into this interview. I almost came in and be like, hey, what's going on, Jim? You're like, I'm Derryl. Oh. It's like, go Cincinnati. This is Toronto. No, it didn't actually happen that way.
Delaware. Oh, I'm in Delaware.
Yeah.
World reference.
Yeah. Oh no, I saw Steel Panther at one point, and Satch was like, you guys are the best crowd ever. And the bass player's like, you said the same thing in Cincinnati. And it's just crap like that. Actually, I don't know if that really worked, but either way, do you have a favorite piece of cheap gear? Tell us about.
Oh, wow.
Putting you on the spot.
Oh, you did. But I will definitely. Okay, the cheapest gear. I think it's actually. I just looked at it. It's right behind me. It would be the Joyo Batson. It's actually a 7-in-1 overdrive pedal. So
Sweet.
basically, what we have here is like. Let me pull this out from the board. Just gotta love how I set up everything back here, right?
Oh yeah, and I have to come along and ruin it. I'm not even there.
Yeah.
Internet's great. Bad influence from afar.
So basically, it has like just emulations. It has like 7 overdrives and typical like tubes, like 3 knobs, right? The volume, tone, and gain.
Yep.
And we have like the 808. We have like what is that? An OCD drive and overdrive 1. So I don't know what the reference at because I don't have the manual.
Okay.
But this is like what, less than $80 that I got on Amazon Canada. So it pretty much has like different frequencies, for overdrive. So it definitely works on different applications, especially like for like EQ.
Yep.
Because if your impulse response is like too bassy, okay, you want to add a little bit of treble. Okay, let's find one that has that treble.
I'm looking this up right now to get the current price of it, and it's it is called the Joyo. I can't spell bat. Come on, how do I spell it? BAA.
BAAAT.
I got it. Here it's coming up, and it costs right at the moment, from what I can tell, $79
dollars in Canadian.
It's sold by Joyo. Yeah, in Canadian money. That's ridiculous. Maybe I should pick one up too, just to give it a whirl. At $80, it's not bad. Other than I just bought like a ton of meat. But yeah, I just bought a meat order, which food's expensive. But either way, that for an overdrive, that's really, really good. I could not ask you that question. I like did you put that thing on the pedal there? That switch? Yeah, you did. Like on the on-off switch, it looks like you put that thing there on the pedal. This one? Yeah, that thing.
Oh, it's a topper. It's just basically, you just remove that and then there you go. But for the sake of like, let's say, I guess not easier access, it just makes it bigger, so it's easier for the foot to kind of like, turn it on and off. So yeah, so I put it on there. That's another gift from what Moore gave me for my pedals.
Nice. I didn't know they were associated with Joyo.
No, it's a competitor, right? But I used it. Yeah, but during the time, I would just switch these out for like the other mini pedals that I have, like such as the I have the tone capture.
Oh
right?
yeah, these things. Yep.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So it was for the mini pedals, but then if I was using this overdrive, I'll just take out the foot topper and put it onto this as an example.
And I guarantee you could play that thing live and nobody would know the absolute difference that you were using something by Joyo or you were using something by
because of the IR, right? Like we said, like it's making up most of the tone, right? And people are not going to know the difference, and unless they see, like if they're just listening with their eyes, but they're not. If they can't see it, they won't know.
Exactly. I have got the Behringer, the Behringer tube screamer, right? The 808. I saw a video that you did. Yeah. I want to grab that, but it's way too far over there. I mean, the one in the Kemper is the exact same thing. I think it's an easy circuit to replicate.
Yeah.
But man, other than it's a plastic, that thing was, I think I spent $40 and it sounds awesome.
It does.
It was great, man. Man, I've used it in videos and stuff. I haven't used it in a while, but that's just because I don't necessarily need it. But let's put it this way. If I put that in front of any other amp, it's great. Honestly, I didn't even think it was... When we compared it to the Ibanez, I don't think I could really tell the difference. Other than like the construction is a little bit different. That Joyo pedal you had there looks like it was actually solid.
Yeah, it's like practically like
Yeah, it's actually metal and actual switches and stuff. So yeah, no, that thing looks really good. I think the Behringer name, I think people just, I think they hear cheap and they think it's like meh. But
automatically they think cheap. I mean,
but Behringer's good.
I had a friend who was actually going to go on tour because he was afraid that he was going to lose his Axe effects in the airport, right? So I said, okay, you know what? Here, why don't you borrow my my Behringer or one of my clone pedals, right? Because it does the same job. And then, but he was a name guy. He was a brand name guy. He's just like, oh no, I want to have the TS-808. I'm like, well, this has the TS-808. I mean, like, what? If you lose it, buy me another one. It's it's not like going to cost you like $300.
It's not. It's not a Klon or whatever that is. What's that crazy expensive pedal?
The Golden Horse.
Yeah.
Klon. Yeah, exactly.
It's Centaur Klon or something. Yeah, it's not like that. And
exactly.
No.
And it's like 1 gig. Like just take it and you lose it, buy me another one. No problem. It's affordable. It sounds good. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, man. I'm terrible at interrupting and doing this kind of thing. And you're the guy that's probably keeping me on track the most here. But, man, like Behringer interfaces, I have a Behringer foot controller that I use all the time. It's a MIDI controller for my, I have a Kemper. I have the Uno for Kemper set up. And now I know Kemper's expensive, but I don't have the Kemper foot switch. So I have the Behringer as it came with it. And it's about used. And man, like it's like maybe not the greatest of switches, but man, I've gone to shows like actual bands like Beyond Creation, and then what do you see going across the floor for their Axe effects? Behringer, FCB, whatever it is, because basically everybody without an endorsement buys the Behringer because it's affordable. I think you could get them for like $150 or something, like it's compared to $600. I mean, it's a huge difference, and I think putting the chip in them is stupid easy. You can get Uno. There was another one too. I can't think of it. There's a different software for I think Axe effects. It doesn't matter. But Behringer. I like Behringer. Just saying. I think they're a pretty good company.
They make good stuff.
Or at least make good stuff. I don't know about them, but I like their products and stuff. I'd like to get some more.
Good. It sounds good, and that's what matters. Again, like it comes down to that IR. I'll always keep repeating that. The IR, it makes a huge difference.
Exactly. Okay. So we've been talking about pedals and stuff for a long time here. But how many years have you been playing guitar? Like, when did you start? How long have you been playing?
God. Oh, man. Since 1990. Man, I sound old when I say that. No, that was like 1995.
Yeah.
During that time, I think that's after I heard the Black album. So this was before the grunge movement started.
Yep.
But 95, I think I heard Enter Sandman for like the first time, and I think that pretty much changed my life forever. So since 95, I was just playing on an acoustic, and then wouldn't get it like an electric for like until like, oh gosh, almost 7 years later. It was all started on acoustic.
Oh wow, yeah. And you've played a long time, and you've played a lot of shows and different bands and all that kind of fun stuff too. So speaking of bands and stuff, when did you start playing in bands?
Actually, so 2005. So that's like almost like 10 years after I started playing, because during that time, I had to make sure that I was a good guitar player, because I didn't want to just pick up, and just get on stage, and then worrying about people how I'm going to be playing, because I'm pretty I want to make sure that people have a good time. People are entertained, right? Yep. Because in order to entertain people, you got to be confident in your playing.
Exactly.
Right? So it took 10 years of that to kind of just learn okay, how the guitar works, how high I should put it, because at the same time, while I want to play, I still want to entertain. Right, like I want to move around. I don't want to just be like a tree on stage, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it was basically owning my my technical skills. I just wanted to make sure that I was confident enough, technique-wise, music-wise, before I got on stage. So 10 years. So I just started around 2005, and then the rest is history. I've been active since.
That's awesome, man. And so these days, I know you're like more of a solo project. And you've been doing V and stuff, and I know you've had some songs out with like Lou Bell, who from the Philippines and stuff. And
that's right.
And so right. What's going on with that these days? You were writing some new tracks?
Actually, yeah. We just started like she just messaged me just fairly recently with new vocals added for another song, which has yet to be released. So we actually so this would be the second new song aside from the 3 singles that I put out on Bandcamp and on Spotify.
Yep.
So as of right now, we officially have 5 songs that's going to be completed, and I just have to add a solo for this 5th song. And then once everything that's completed, okay, we're on to the next one. So what I do is that there's no pressure between me and her, because like I will send a song, and then how many periods are there in a year? There's like 4 periods that we could use, right, as time. So it's like 3 months.
Yep.
There's a 3-month which is more than enough time to work on a song, me on solos, for her on vocals, and for her to write lyrics, right? So so she just sent the 5th song over, and I now have to start on another one. I'm going to be starting another track. I just have to look at all the riffs that I have in my hard drive, and then we continue from there. So it's June now, so I got to write another one for this particular 3 months for her to look at, and then we continue from there.
Oh man, and doing all this stuff, it takes a lot of time, because people like me and you work too, and we also do YouTube. So and you're just taking time away from that to hang out with me and do this. But hey, that's cool. By the way, you did mention Bandcamp and that stuff. The links are below for Derryl's music and his YouTube channel and stuff, so you can check all that kind of stuff out. I should just link Lou Bell as well, since we've mentioned her.
Actually, yeah, because like her band is actually excellent, and that's how I discovered her, right? I heard her old band called Desk and Got, and as soon as I heard her voice, I thought she sounded like Angela from Arch Enemy. I don't know if you felt that way.
I don't know. I remember
maybe
Angela
the
from Arch. Material. Yeah, I don't think I think that much when I hear like screamers and stuff too much in that sense, but I think it's just I don't think sometimes, but it depends if something catches my ear like that. But
understood, yeah.
And saying that, most of what I'm familiar with Lou Bell is actually your music. I've listened to that. Okay, cool. So because there was one night I went through all your stuff and Vanquisher. I went through like a whole bunch of those. One night I'm like, okay, I know these guys. I'm going to listen to their music. That's what I did, because Robin Malm's band, I'm like, I gotta listen to his stuff too. So
and he was in one of your videos as well, the Riff Collab.
Yes he was, and I'm pretty sure he's the guy with the really cool strap too. It's like all fur. It's like the Viking strap. It's really cool and stuff. But so how many bands were you in like before you ever went solo? Like, you probably have some stories here.
It's because it sounds like a long time, right? 2005, but I was actually only in 2 bands actually. Like the first band, they were called 16 Gauge, and I was with them for like 4 years. So we had like we had a lot of good gigs, but we didn't have a lot of songs. But what made up for it was just the is that our presentation as a band was very presentable, very entertaining. Right to the point. It's just like, hey, these guys are pretty good, because they're visually entertaining, yet at the same time writing this heavy melodic, music. Mm-hmm. And we were all Filipino too, right? Like, we're all like an Asian metal band in Toronto, so not a lot of people, saw that. So that gave us the opportunity for like big gigs. Like we opened for Devil Driver, the Thrashin, Summer Slaughter tour in 2009. We were like the openers for that. And then we opened for a Filipino band that came down from the Philippines called Slapshock. We opened for them, and then after that we opened for Neuraxis and Revocation, and that was our last show. So that would be 2009. That's when we decided to it came to a decision that they were not in, some people were not into it anymore. People change.
Oh yeah, and
it takes dedication. It takes a lot of time, just like YouTube. And if there's no money coming in, it's understandable, right? So I said, you know what? Okay, if you guys are if you guys are not happy doing this anymore, then I have no right to keep you. like, to keep you shackled into this. So let's just part ways, and then go on with it, right?
Yep.
So then I've been, to this day, I'm still going on, doing what I'm doing, because I love it. It's not just about aim or anything like that, or trying to get recognized. But it's just been something that I've kept with me for a very long time. Basically it's my happiness. I love doing this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You said you were in 2 bands, so there was another one in there too.
There was another one called Execute Damage. So we wrote one EP, and we think one of our members was from Kitty. Her name was Ivy. She was the bass player. So she was in this band for one gig, and then Kitty called her, and they said, "Hey, we need a bass player." Oh, and off she went. Right?
Yeah. When I was talking to you yesterday, you're like, "Yeah, she was in Kitty." I'm like, "Wait, Kitty's Canadian?" Like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And,
London, Ontario.
From London, Ontario. I have relatives in London. I never go to London, Ontario. I've never been to London, Ontario in my life. Been to Ontario a handful of times at this point, but it'd be a while before I make it back. But in saying that, I never knew. Like, Kitty was a pretty extreme band, especially for me. I didn't listen to a lot of death metal. Yeah, but I mean, they stuck out, man. But they were good, like what I've heard of them. I mean, that's the thing. Like, screw the stereotypes. Do what you want.
Do what you want.
And that's one thing I do have happen once in a while. Is I had a guy from another country say, well, they'll think of me. Well, they won't care about me because of yada yada yada. Be something like a skin color, something like. Who cares? Why are you letting that stop you? I've heard people say, well, I can't do that. My voice is screwed up. Dude, people always laughed at me on Ola's Discord because I said guitar. Because they thought I just say guitar, but they hear this guitar.
So you say guitar.
In my popular videos, every so often I get called out, you have a weird accent, man. One guy's like, yeah, you're from the mainland Nova Scotia. I know, I'm from Cape Breton. And he was just searching the gear and happened to find a review from Nova Scotia. And every so often you're like, where's your accent from? It's not quite American. It's not, I don't know if it's stereotypically Canadian, but it's just this end of the world I'm not so sure about and stuff. But you can't let any of those little things stop you.
No, absolutely not.
So one thing, I've got a question for you. When you do your videos, when you start doing them, how long did it take for you to get used to listening to your own voice?
Oh goodness, it was just after after I had to do a demonstration for Flamma. They sent me this multi-effects unit, and they said, "Okay, you do a video, right? But can you explain how it works?" And I was like, "I only know how to make it sound good, but I've never talked in front of a camera." So I said, okay, let's not worry how my voice sounds. That's the number one thing. And I said, and just basically wing it. And then after that, I'll probably what I do is that I think I sent you a private link as well as Lee Armitage to be like, hey, how does this sound? Like, does my voice sound good? And then you and Lee were just like, it sounds perfectly fine. You're well spoken.
Yeah.
I was like, really? I was like, oh, okay. So that gave me that confidence because I was so afraid to put these videos out. And then when I got that assurance, I looked at the Flamma video that I did for them, the multi-effects unit.
Yep.
I mean, so far, it's got 45 likes. And I was just, okay, now this, I said, I think I got something going now. So that's when I started to demo more. And then once again, Flamma would just be like, we really like your video. Can you do this one now? And I was like, absolutely. So that's how I just started doing these tone matching. Let's put it that way. I still don't have a name for the series. I'm still thinking for the YouTube channel.
I still have never got an official name for this podcast, so don't feel bad. It's just a way to get people on here and talk and hang out. And eventually I should probably just extract the audio from all of them and put them on some sort of hosting platform. But either way, you have the voice, it's actually a very clear accent to listen to, at least according to me. It's my bias. I'm Canadian and you're Canadian. So, it sounds perfectly fine to me. That's always a self-conscious thing. You hear all these deep compressed voices on TV and the radio. It's like, It's like, are you over the age of 65? Do you need this insurance? And like, or you hear those like cool host voices, like Dee Snider had an amazing one.
Yeah.
Do you remember House of Hair, the radio show he did?
Actually, no, I haven't actually heard it. No,
they used to play that in the radio here like 10 years ago. It was wicked, and they stopped playing it. One night I put it on, like, that's Peter Gabriel. That's not the host of Hair. And I'm like, well, I like the song, and it's just like, The Wave. What the hell is this channel? And I stopped playing the host of Hair, but Dee had like a really cool voice for it. But you got to realize that eventually people just associate your voice with you, and very rarely do I hear a lot of annoying voices on the internet, but there are a few that I've heard from different genres of YouTube, but you don't have that annoying voice. I'm not like, hey guys, today we're going to review the Ibanez RG.
Yeah, for me, I try to, like, when I present like my videos, I just try to get straight to the point. It's just like, hi guys, this is the unit. I'm going to show you how to do this from scratch. And I always put in the title, quick setup. So once they hear the word quick setup, it's like, okay, good. I don't have to, peruse through the whole thing. We're just playing a bunch of riffs. And then after, okay, when is he going to do the demo? Right?
Yeah.
I just like to go straight to the point and see if this is like something that maybe someone is going to like. And then that's where it come from.
All of the old chappers and I think it's Lee Anderton, is that his name? Yeah,
I think so.
The captain. The captain. They went on forever before anything ever happened, and I can't talk. I can go on forever and screw around. It's like, man, I got like 20 minutes of footage for this. Like, ugh, I gotta do something. Some people like it. A lot of people want to get to the point, and even when you do it to the point, they don't watch the whole damn thing anyway.
It's true. Like, most of the time, like when people search like a product that I'm demoing, it's just like they just want to hear how good it sounds. That's all.
I wonder how many of them look it up to see if somebody else made it sound good after they've already bought it.
Yeah, I've seen, like, I know that Fluff did a video on the Flamma product, right? Yep. And then there were some comments saying, oh, it's a cheap product and, it doesn't sound good. I'm like, is it because it doesn't visually look good? That's why it sounds bad, And so I said, no, I'm gonna make an attempt to make this video for Flava because they're a brand new company,
exactly,
and they needed help. And I also put in a disclaimer that it's also a paid advertisement, right? Yep. Because they sent it to me for free. I have to do that because if I didn't, it's against the law. It's cheating, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I figured, because I made friends with them, I was just, okay, yeah, I'll be glad to, because you know what? My channel is fairly small, and the company is still fairly small too. I said, I think we have a win-win situation here where we can both grow together, right? So back to this story with the product, some people actually said, oh, it sounds bad. And then until I did the product, on my channel, someone actually said, like, wow, I changed my mind about how it actually sounds because I made it sound good. And I'm nothing to brag, but it's the IR once again.
Exactly.
Right? Like the beginning of what we just talked about, it makes up like 80% of the tone. And
exactly.
You just have to find a preamp that you actually are comfortable with, right? Like if there's a Mesa and you like bass heavy, okay, go select the Mesa, right?
Exactly.
For me, I'm just more of a 5150 type of guy, and then using an IR, my favorite IR, and then after that, use it with an overdrive, and I'm all set.
Exactly. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make an Instagram story to tease this right now. So smile for the camera. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, but man, people always say, "Oh, it's cheap, so it can't be good." I think that's changed. I think a lot of that's changed, at least in the sound-wise game in these days. Things are gotten so much better in gear.
I think when it starts to reference, I saw your interview with Kyle Bull, the Digitech. I think that's how it started. Like anything that.
Oh, those were bad though.
But technology these days have come a long way now.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, exactly.
So cheap can sound good. I mean, all these clones are coming out, right? I'm just like, wow. But either way, I just put in the Mower radar, and then it's all good. It's all good for me because that's what I have. I have my favorite speaker.
Yeah, there you go. Kyle, he was talking about that. That dude has good tones and stuff, man. His amp collection's ridiculous. redonkulous.
I've seen his amp collection.
It's just like, holy crap. He's a super nice guy though, man. That was a good interview. It was different because I didn't know him, and me and you have talked so many times and worked together. It's a little bit different. It's like, I've never met you in person, but I feel like I know you. You know what I mean? In a different sense, and all that kind of fun stuff. So we've talked about gear. Actually, I do want to ask, what's your favorite guitar?
Oh goodness, I'm not gonna. You know what? I will say this. I brought it out recently, and I would have to still say it's my Jackson Randy Rhodes, the USA Rhodes.
Yeah, you got the RR1, right?
The RR1, the actual RR1 USA. I think this was it was made in I think in Ontario in the States, right? Not Canada, but Ontario. It's in one of the big shops down there, but it was 20 years old, right?
Yeah.
And I got that Rhodes because of two reasons. I think it was Kirk Hammett, because that Metallica was pretty much the first band I started listening to. He was playing a Rhodes before he down-tuned it for Sad But True. He always plays it for detuning now. And then the color, the black and gold pinstripes, was because of Alexi. Rest in peace.
Oh, man. So, the Wild Child one? Yeah. Those were way.
Yeah, I wish I had the Wild Child one, but this one is actually just bevels, right? Like, it's not solid bevels, but this one would just, it's just a string through. So it's like, it has Kirk's, specs.
Yep.
But it also has Alexi's look, so I thought that was really nice. So that's why it's my favorite.
Oh man, the old Alexi, man. When Children of Bodom played Jacksons, man. I think the story was it got stolen, and ESP was like, "Oh, we'll make you some new guitars."
That's right.
And ESPs are awesome, by the way.
Oh yeah, I mean, during that time, I think Alexi he still wanted to stick with Jackson, I believe.
Yeah.
But then they said it would take a year to make, and so he went to ESP, and they said, "Oh, make it to you in 3 months."
Yeah, they could probably get him something really fast too, but they also made signatures. Yeah, I mean, well, there's now the Alexi Laiho is cool. And this is just my opinion. The Alexi Laiho is a cool guitar, but it has one bridge pickup. Now, no neck pickup. Now that's great if you want to play Children of Bodom. You want to play if you're just playing like straight up metal. The bridge pickup is great. And the Alexi Laiho models, if they just got rid of that skull on the green one or the pink one,
the greenie, yeah.
If they got rid of the skull, I just hated the skull. I just didn't like it. Depends. It's just my preference. It's not my signature. And I like Alexi Laiho, man. Me and even that last Bodom After Midnight song that came out was like, oh my god, that was an awesome track. It's like he went out on a banger. That was, at least, you know what I mean. Like, they weren't planning for his death, but man, like, that was a good song. And saying that, there was a European and Japanese ESP model called the SV, and it had a neck pickup. It was like the Alexi Laiho.
I've seen it. Yeah.
I saw one in person once, and it was a guy from Japan that had it. I saw it overseas, and like, that would be if I was getting an RR shape, that'd be the one. You know what would be killer? Guitar shop in Japan. I would love to do it. What's like Shinjuku or Shibuya?
It's one of the two. I just don't have it in mind.
I think it's Shibuya. I don't know. It's like there's like a billion like stores in this one spot. Like I've done it in Korea, but I don't think it's the same as Japan. But oh man, I'd be just like, okay, so this is what, 10 trillion yen? What does this equal in Canadian money? Oh, $5,000. Pass. Oh man. Well, there's something else there was another show you were on. We talked about bands, and we're talking about like our current project. For me and you, it's mostly YouTube at this point. Plus, now you have obviously your solo project V, which you talk about what you do with Lou Bell or whoever, probably once in a while, but mostly you writing that kind of stuff. But at one point, you were on a banger TV show called Shredders of Metal. And I mean, say whatever you want about that. How did you ever get on there to begin with?
Oh, I was just, after I released the first album, this was prior to Lou Bell, right? Yep. And I was actually thinking about quitting music altogether because like I lost both my bands during that time, and I wasn't a songwriter yet. I was just mainly a lead guitar player, right? Just shredding all the time. And then I said to myself, okay, before I quit, before I stop altogether, I have all this music inside me that I need to release before I say, like, before it becomes my swan song, before I say goodbye to the music and just become like a regular 9 to 5er. So I released the album, and then after that, it came about to be where I was just like, okay, I've done the album. This is good, and let's just leave it at that. Suddenly, I'm getting messages from Europe and like in France, they were saying, "Oh, we love the first album. Like, are you going to be releasing more?" And I was just like, "Okay, this is good." And then Facebook, there are a lot of Facebook metal groups. Suddenly, they started sharing it, and then started landing on torrent sites. And I mean, okay, and usually people will frown upon that, but to me, if someone doesn't have access to the album and they want to download it, hey, they have access to it. What matters is that the exposure is there and that they spread the word.
Yep.
That's all I ask. If you're going to get something for free, like you download it or whatever, I don't mind, as long as you spread the word of what it is. I'm good with that. So once that happened, I said, wow, okay, let me just continue on because people like it. So then suddenly, this was like 3 years ago, I was at work, and then there was an audition for Banger TV's Shredders of Metal show, and I said, you know what? I know I said I was going to quit after all this. Let me just give this a chance.
Yeah.
So I put my audition video, which is actually on my channel. I'll put it.
I've watched it. Yeah.
And so I sent that to them. I was actually in my pajamas, and that you could see I wasn't not shaven whatsoever. I just like, oh, let me just put the guitar video, like, just
screw it.
Face the
just gonna send it.
Exactly. I'm just gonna send it, and at least it's not a cover; it's an original. And then after that, so I get a message like, saying, "Thank you so much for sending the video. We'll get in contact with you later." I was like, I'm probably not gonna get it. 2 weeks, and maybe a week and a half later, it's like, hey, can we interview you? We want to see how you are as a person. Maybe that you're presentable. So I said, okay, absolutely. So we did the interview, and then after that, the filming started, and it's pretty much changed my life.
And you wore your pajama pants to the interview, right? Just like the video.
Actually, they wouldn't know because when you're on like
yeah.
You're not gonna know.
I was being a tool. But yeah, I've definitely seen that edition. Yeah. And then so like, what were your experiences on there like that?
Yeah.
I mean, I had an experience. I don't know if I feel like the same way about it. But how did it feel to walk in there, like, do that? Like, these guys were monsters. Like, I know there was like Rick. He added me on Facebook recently. Actually, Rick can't pronounce your name. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know them, but since I did the Sam interview, they some of those guys have added me on Facebook, or at least Rick did. Maybe It was just Rick. But in saying that, how did it feel to walk in there? Like, was it feel pressuring, or like surreal? Like, how did it feel?
I would say it was surreal because, like, Sam Dunn, I loved his documentary videos.
Me too.
He did the metal. He did this global metal, and then he did Headbanger's Journey.
Exactly. So, I loved those.
I've been watching those like daily when when it first came out. I was just so happy. And it was again a Canadian company actually doing all this filming. That's what made me like so proud of, right?
Yeah,
I
didn't know.
I was like, oh man, I get to be a part of this. So we had to be there. I think, I woke up at 5 a.m. to start practicing because I had work. I had to finish my shift at midnight the night before, and then I got to wake up at 5 to warm up, to get, to be awake, to be prepared, because we had to be at the studio by 7 a.m.
Wow. Yeah. So they were serious then. Get started early.
Yeah, because we had only had like 2 days to film. The whole season was basically like 2 days. So you'll notice that, why are they all wearing like the same clothes, right?
Every week, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so, I understand.
Yeah. So we got there at 7 o'clock, 7 in the morning, and we were all tired. Rick just came from a show. He had a gig. And at that time, he was in Sam's band, which we'll probably maybe talk about later. So 7 o'clock, and then all of a sudden, nobody said who the next judge was going to be. So we're just like, okay, so I see Sam Dunn, then I see Daniel DK of Exciter.
Yeah.
And then they said, okay, we have a special guest that's going to be judging. So we're just like, oh my goodness. And it's just like, it's got to be Alex Skolnick, because like they made us play this guitar lick, right? Like I think this was on episode 2. And as soon as like, okay, why are they saying we're allowed to play only this particular guitar lick, but we can't play anything else? So I was like, out comes Alex Skolnick. And that's when the nerves was basically, I was just scared. Like, I wouldn't say scared. I was excited, but at the same time, I was nervous because now I got to play right in front of these 3 people, right? So, yeah, it was quite an experience when I was there, but it was definitely a life-changing thing for me.
Yeah, man. But those experiences what help, you grow and stuff too. And
yeah,
would there be anything you would change about that experience?
I absolutely not. But maybe when I was on the show, only thing I would wish it would change is maybe the gear, that was on there, because we were presented with a JCM 800.
Yep.
And if you don't have a lot of boost, you have to give that amplifier a lot of boost in order to get the preferred sound. Right. I'm mainly a 5150 guy, but now that we have a JCM, and I think I just had one overdrive, I had the super overdrive with me, still wasn't enough. And then it was just like, okay, filming 3, 2, 1. So basically what you saw there was basically, hey, because the time was very, very tight.
Yeah.
And it is what it is, but at the same time, I was just happy because I was like, here I was saying I was going to quit a long time ago, but then suddenly these things started happening.
Exactly.
And then I messaged Ola, and because I said Ola, listen, I'm going to be on this show. I'm going to bring the Solar guitar, on it. Would it be okay? Just to kind of like represent you. And he was just like, keep me informed.
Yeah.
Because he's such a straight shooter, Ola is, right?
Yeah.
He's just like, keep me in the loop, right? So the show happened. After all that, I said to him, listen, I'm sorry if my performance was, when it wasn't up to par on that. And he was just like, what you did for me, I really appreciate, because you brought my guitar on the show, and I'm forever grateful for everything that you did.
Yeah, that might have been like the other first maybe big thing when Solar is a really new company. It might have been with the first big thing that they ever did. But so that's going to lead us to, and I know we're going to be over the hour here, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
but so my question for you is, at this point, what happened after Shredders of Metal? Like, that obviously opened up some opportunities for you either way.
It did, because to me, being on a worldwide platform, right? It's a huge YouTube channel.
Oh,
and I said to myself, okay, whatever the outcome was, I was happy. Even when I go to Banger, the studio crew at Banger, they loved my optimism. Like, they knew even if things did not go the way it was planned, I always said to myself that this was a platform to get me where I need to go. Because soon after that, I said, let me just get in touch with, let's say, like a string company, for example, because this ties into the story. So I said, so I get in contact with Skull Strings, who I was referred from a friend in Hawaii. And he said, hey, Derryl, you should apply for Skull Strings. They're a very good company because, they take care of artists like me. Sorry for the voices. And I said, okay, I'll give it a try. And then he's like, yeah, but remember, you already did one big thing on that show. You better contact them. And I said, okay, I'll take care of it. He said, okay, my brother, I'll talk to you later. So I get in contact with them, and the first thing right away, Gwen, she just said, yes, we will be glad to make you as an artist for our. Sorry for the accents, because she's French.
No, it's all good, man.
I write it in French, so because they're from France, right? So
I understand.
We are very glad to have you aboard. Please, so this is what you will be doing. Make sure that you put us into all your social media, and then I said I'll be glad to, and then after that they started. I asked if they can make like a custom set. Not a signature set, but I said something that's just for my D tuning, right? Like anything specific tunings. he didn't hesitate. They said, okay, sure, we will make it. Just send us a picture, and then we'll take care of it. And I said, okay, but I'm not gonna put my own picture because I don't like anything like signature model, right? I don't want to present myself like that. So I wanted to just come up with a theme. I said, okay, I'll draw myself as a skeleton, and then after that'll be skull strings. There'll be skeleton. Boom.
There you go.
And then so that was with the skull strings that changed me. And after that, I got in contact with Mower. So I said the same thing to them, but their list is very long for when it comes to requirements. You got to have albums, and specifically you got to have a website, and you got to have like media coverage. Shredders of Metal.
Perfect.
So I said, yeah, I was on this show, and like this is exactly what I did. Like I've been around, I've been doing shows like the Devil Driver gig, the Revocation, Neuraxis, all that stuff. I get an email. He said, welcome aboard. And then since then, started demoing the pedals that they sent me, because this was just my way of giving back.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
If you get something for free, like sometimes for me, like with Mower, it's like an artist discount, right? Mm-hmm. But it's still something. So I figured if they're giving me something, I got to give back, but at the same time, put a disclaimer that this is kind of like a paid advertisement.
Yeah.
But I'm still proud, to show what I'm doing with this, because hopefully it influences others to get the product, just like the Flamma stuff. Right?
Or it at least brings exposure to new people to the product, because hey, maybe not everybody can afford the Klon pedal or whatever, and it's hey, this Mura product sounds better to me than this, I don't know, or it's a good price, like it's like with the Behringer thing we were talking about earlier. So it does do them a big service too. So the fact is that you're not just like, oh yeah, he uses it, but we don't actually know what's on stage. You're actually proving that it works.
Yeah,
you're showing them in a video.
Goal. Exactly.
And this is where people's eyes are these days. These things.
True.
Now,
it is. Yeah.
Pro tip for anybody listening to this: if you're going to listen to reviews on products that have sound samples, use monitors or good headphones. Listening to this little speaker, it all sounds the same.
Yeah.
But it's still proven it works.
And don't just record with your cell phone only. Right.
Those videos are garbage. They don't tell me anything. If somebody's doing that, that's the review. I mean, I can't think of an example where that even would work in 2021. That's cool. It turns on. Well, most things turn on when you buy them, as long as the batteries aren't dead or batteries aren't included.
I like to hear the details of the actual, frequencies. Like Ola, what he does, he mics everything, right? I think he's also mentioned that about people using IRs. Right, I think that's on his latest video. But he presents it differently, and it works for him. Me, I present it because I can't make a lot of noise in this place. Right, this is just like I'm in my bedroom, and I don't want to disturb the neighbors. So I figured, okay, let me just go straight into the interface and use the impulse responses, and we're all good. And you could hear the details of everything.
Exactly. I mean, I just record direct as well stuff. I mean, most people are playing in a bedroom. Like, I'm lucky that I have a pretty good space in here. This is just one of the rooms in the house, and I don't even have a good angle for doing these things. It was when I set this room up to do this, to do videos, it was to face the other way, or I have when I started actually designing the room. So but most people do play, they can't play through a cabinet. They ever hang like the little IO loader you have, I think is awesome.
Yeah, that's it. Again, it simulates the cabinet, like the one behind me. I don't know if you can see the 5150.
I saw it earlier. Yeah.
So but again, I mean, there's a lot of good products out there. I think I even got Bogren Digital. I think I got
I've been using a bit of their stuff too. Not often, but I have used it.
Experiment. Yeah.
And I like it because Raphael almost told me to get the discount.
Yeah.
There was 2 discounts to do. Yeah, you did a video with Raphael, and I did one. What one did you? You
Solar
did
Brothers.
Yeah, Solar Brothers. Even though you guys are artists, I am not a solar artist. And
if he just wanted to, Raphael is a great guy. I mean,
he's so great.
He's so proud to be an artist that he wants to, he's doing his part, to showcase the brand.
He helps a lot of people.
Yeah.
And
I think that's why he called you up too, because
I have him.
Yeah. and you have a Solar, and it's once again, we're just making a nice visual presentation, for the brand, because they are beautiful instruments.
Oh man,
and I'm not getting paid to say that, but no. They are actually nice.
I'm not an artist, and I love my 6-string and 7-string. I played the 7 earlier. I haven't got to play guitar much this week, and I feel bad about it, but tired. Yeah. When you have a yard, you've got a life. There's a lot of things to do. Yeah, but I played guitar earlier at I'm just getting back at things. I went hard on filming videos this week and stuff, but no, man, the Solar stuff plays amazing. But yeah, you did you did At the Gates with him, and I did Megadeth and Symphony of Destruction. I actually decided to play along with that the other day. I never want to cover Marty again, but I kind of went back to play it again. So I'm
those wide stretch runs, man. Marty does.
I couldn't do. I literally I don't like my performance in that video at all.
That was pretty good.
But it was fun. I tried to do it one night, couldn't even do it. And the next time I set up, I did it one take. I said, I'm living with it. This is good. Marty's crazy, but Raphael he's a saint, man. He helps he does not just helping the companies. He's helping people like me and you too.
Yeah,
get out there. Yeah. He has some reach through Instagram and stuff too.
He does,
and he's played some cool shows and stuff too. I feel like we're on the Raphael almost minute, to be like, Raphael, he is awesome. Yeah. If he ever makes it to this part of the video, I'll have to tell him we were talking about it. We're talking about him.
I'm sure he'll be happy.
I'll just message him. Yeah, we're talking about shit on you in my next video. You should probably watch it. We were real jerks. Nah, man, he's got he loves the Evertune and stuff too, because might have the Evertunes. Anyway, before we go, we should talk about the X Japan video we did. I've talked about it with Sam on here.
Yeah.
But me and you were the guys who were started that one.
Yeah. It's just started because I've been listening to them since I was in college, right? This is all the way in 2009, right? I was still in college, and then it was my first discovery of Japanese bands, and X Japan was a good start. It was a good start to get into them, right? Because it had a good blend of speed metal with classical elements and poppy songs, right? And the poppy songs were actually pretty good, right? The piano stuff that they would do, their ballads, even if their pop stuff was pretty good. So then I was just like, I'm just gonna share this video. I think it was Weekend. I shared it on my, because
you shared it on Facebook.
Prior to that, I was just like, I really like this double guitar solo.
Oh right? Yeah.
And I get a comment from you, and it's like, so the song's pretty awesome, man. And I was just like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, he's trying to do my accent, and he's not doing very good at it. He does everybody else's accents, and he gets to mine, he's like, hey, you talk like this. And I was like, I don't talk like that. But I remember that moment, actually, because I was way out in Muscatawbit, which, have fun if you can spell Muscatawbit, and you'll Google it, but it's nobody can pronounce it if you're not from here. They're like, mosquito bit. Anyway, I was down there, and I was just having to go on Facebook on my phone, which I shouldn't have been doing, but whatever. I guess it meant something that day. It's like, oh yeah, this is cool. You're like, yeah, we should do a cover of this sometime. I'm like, yeah, I'd be down for that. You're like, just solo full song, full song. So I think I started to learn it not long after.
You learned it right away after I messaged you, and I wasn't even prepared that you were going to be that quick, because after that you said all of a sudden, it's like, hey Derryl, I got the bass, already. It was
the guitar.
You sent me the...
Yeah. I had the guitar figured out quick. The bass was not so fast.
Well, Taiji's parts are godly, man. I think he was such an amazing bass player. He had his own riffs. He didn't follow all the guitars. He was basically on his own, and that's what made him unique. I just wish that he stayed in the band longer.
Yeah,
he wrote some good songs, but he wrote some really good bass riffs. it complemented them so well. Like you would hear the guitar solo, but then you'd hear this amazing bass background.
Yeah, it's like its own show. Yeah,
exactly. It was like the Cliff Burton of ex-Japan, in my opinion.
There's certain things when somebody says you want to cover things, and a lot of times I don't want to cover things. A lot of times the answer, I would say about 90% of the time, the answer for me is actually no. But that one's like, no, this is cool, but I like this one. Not a lot of people were doing it. Yeah. And it was just like, oh, this is fun. So I got to it. It took me a little while to still learn the track. I'm still trying to learn Silent Jealousy. I'm getting there. It's just time, and that's tired. Yeah. Time is time. Like as soon as summer comes along, it's just like,
oh yeah,
totally. Boom, there's your time. Yeah. This a hammer to the clock. It's brutal. But anyway. So I learned that, and I was like, man, we don't want to do program drums. I asked Alessio, which we talked about earlier, because I knew him, and I knew he's like, well, he's a power metal guy. I'll ask that guy to do drums. Like I have another cover coming up with other people, and I got a different drummer again because I try to pick fitting drummers for jobs.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't want to be like, oh, you're a death metal guy. Let's do power metal. Well, I don't like power metal. You need somebody who has the soul for it, you know?
Yeah, that's for it. You know,
exactly.
For the actual track. Yeah.
So I remember we need some bass. I'm like, well, screw it. I'll learn the bass. That was a grind. That was the hardest thing I ever learned on bass. I've never tried to learn Primus songs or anything like Beyond Creation or something like that. But that was a grind. The guitar for me was absolutely easier.
Well, it made it easier after those bass parts. I mean, it made it look like child's play.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, nothing's easy to learn on guitar. Like any one of us put a lot of effort into guitar. Even if we were like crap that one day, it's still a lot of effort to even do that. And I still remember, so we did that. And then we needed a vocalist, and I messaged, what was that guy? I can't think of it. He still never got back to me. He's a little late now, bud. But I forget. But he does a lot of covers online. He had a killer voice. But I like how it went, because it went different way. We got Sam. Because you know Sam. I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah, I was, because prior to this, this was again, we're going to refer back to Shredders of Metal. Now this was season 2. Right, he mentioned season 1, but we actually officially met on season 2, and Rick was on that show as well, because during that time they were bandmates.
Yeah. So
after that, I met Sam, and we later on I discovered during that point he's a huge anime fan and ex-Japan fan.
You were like nerd.
Yeah, exactly.
No, sorry, Sam. You're
running out here.
Cool.
So I met they were bandmates, Rick and Sam, and then he's a huge anime fan, ex-Japan fan, and then I said, that's pretty cool, and he loves Derryl Gray. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
I've heard of Derryl Gray. Oh yeah.
So I started thinking to myself, I was like, Sam, maybe Sam can do like a Derryl Gray kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Because he's such a huge fan of those two bands. And I was just like, Brian, I think I have a guy. His name is Sam. And
jeez, for 1 second there, I thought like, Brian, wait, hold up, I have to go. I thought you were gonna take off.
No.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, I have a guy named Sam. I met him at the Banger TV studio as well, and I think he wants to be in, but let me confirm everything. And Sam was actually just like, are you asking me that you want me to be your vocalist for this? I said, absolutely, because you're a huge fan. Like you said about the drummer, it has to be someone that will fit for the track. If we got a death metal drummer, it's good. Like mentally, it'll be like, oh, it's too poppy kind of thing. It's too easy, right?
Some of them.
But if we have like Alessio, he was a perfect fit. And
exactly.
So I said, okay, Sam would be good, but he's never done clean vocals. But I said, okay. I said to him, just be you, man. Because he was actually concerned about translating about the lyrics. He said it was getting a little bit too much for him to handle. And I said, listen, dude, you just be you. Accentuate all the positives, right? People are not going to know, right?
Oh.
People just want to hear, how it's going to sound. That's why I chose you. So he got that confidence. And I said, okay, I want you to be on this, man. And then that's how it started.
He explained a bit of the translation and trying to do the Japanese and stuff. I didn't realize the amount of effort he went into and how how it was easier because I think he's Bangladeshi, but that's his first language, I think. Anyway, but the intonation and the languages are the same, which made it easier, which is also why he fit that gig really well.
Yeah.
And it's like those languages like English, Japanese, like vice versa. It's hard to go back and forth, especially if you don't know the two languages. But sometimes if you know something maybe that could be just slightly similar, it's a lot easier. Like it's those like Korean, like I'm versed in that some, but like it's hard, man. Like nothing goes back and forth. So Sam fit that. The interesting thing about X Japan for me is that I discovered them through Sam Dunn, which is Banger TV, like the head of Banger TV, through Global Metal, which you referenced earlier. You were on even though we didn't meet through that, but we met through Ola's Discord. You were on Banger TV. Sam is now a host on Banger TV. So I've got a lot of there's a lot of Banger TV kicking around here too. And I don't know Sam. I've talked to you and Sam quite a bit. I've talked to Dylan Gowan too a handful of times. Host. Yeah. He's a really nice guy too. I was like, nice, I don't want to be annoying, but I did a cover of one of your dad's songs. I tried to send it to him. I don't think he ever got it. And I was like, I tried to get Sam to send it to him. I don't think that ever happened. And I tried.
Dylan's a nice guy.
I tried to get. I didn't want to link it to him because I felt like I was just being like, because I don't know Dylan if he is watching this, and he watched the X Japan cover. I do know that because he said he saw us before, so he knew it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is really cool. So like he was aware of us anyway. Well, he said he knows you, so.
Oh yeah, he actually took the picture of me and Alex Skolnick on stage.
Oh, nice.
Like I think it was him. I think that's what Rick said because basically, I know we're going off topic, but
that's cool, man.
When I said to Alex, like I said before I left the studio, because I'm so overjoyed. I was like, I don't care how it goes, even if it's embarrassing. I said to Alex, I was like, Alex, can I get a photo with you? Can I do a selfie with you? And he goes, I think it's much better on the stage. Let's go out on the stage. So we got into the stage, and Dylan's like, Derryl, send me your phone. And I was just like, and I thought he was just gonna take just a couple of good shots. He actually took multiple shots because he caught me in the moment, smiling, looking up to him like. I'm looking up to Alex Skolnick, right?
Yeah.
So that was my introduction to him, and we've been friends since.
That's super cool, man. Yeah, it's just when I don't know them personally and they don't follow me and stuff, I don't want to be like, hey, listen, like, can you send this to your dad? I just don't want to be that guy. And if he does watch this, I just don't want to be like that annoying fan because. They're just people like me or you. They're no different in that sense. It's just when you don't know people, it makes things really tough. You want to show them. It's like I honestly think Lawrence would like the cover we did of Moonlight Desire. Yeah. And I'm hoping to get Valerie. I have a song idea for Valerie too, who sang that one, and I gotta finish it, man. I just feel swamped lately, but I'm starting new demos and all that stuff too. Either way, Banger TV was cool. It's cool because like I discovered a lot of things through that. Like I didn't realize they were even like a Canadian thing for like a long time, but it is.
Yeah, it's not far from my place.
Somebody asked me,
like an hour.
Somebody asked me, why weren't you on Shredders of Metal? It's like, dude, I was up in Toronto. I can't just go to Toronto. Well, at least back then, you definitely can't now. But, I don't think it would be worth like the money just to go. I'd be tough. I'd probably like kick myself the rest of my life. But, and it's a difficult thing sometimes, and there's opportunities you just can't do because you're just not there. So we have to make our own opportunities in the internet. Even if it's just doing this, hanging out with one another or covers and stuff, because our X Japan cover actually went well, and I loved the final product, but the last thing with that cover about that is that it actually got like thousands of views. It did well. I
was so surprised, how the views that I got, right? because usually when I cover something, sometimes it just gets into like just the hundreds, but this one got to like what? We're at 9,000.
I want to say 8,000. When I last look, I don't look after a while because I get newer things that I'm more concerned about.
No, I always keep an eye on it just to see how everyone else is reacting to it.
It's because Brave Words talked about it, and then an ex-Japan fan Twitter shared it, then that had a lot of followers. There was the comment section went Japanese. I know I've talked about this on the channel, but it's like I remember thinking like, dude, anything I ever do never takes off. And then the next morning I'm like, that has 600 views. Where did 300 views come from? Somebody of influence shared that. I'm like, okay, now it has 700. Yeah. So I messaged you. I'm like, I don't know. It's getting a lot of views, but I'm sure I messaged you. And before I know it, like I was going away that day. It's like 1,000.
I think you're done.
Yeah, it was. That was it. It was like, and I got somewheres. We pull over, take a leak alongside the road. That's what you do in rural Nova Scotia.
Well, yeah, that's what you do. Yeah.
And I pulled my phone out to look. I was like, okay, that's like got 2,000 views now. Like this is growing. I think it got 4,000 almost that day. Like almost that, it was like
2 hours or something like that.
Every so often, it was like a slightly negative comment, but it was just like. I think the vote, it was the positives. I think almost everything I've done, the positives overweighted, except a short I did the other day from Alessandra's Jam. I think it got 3 dislikes, and I think when I liked it and I shared it, and then enough people liked it later on that it got pushed a little bit in the algorithm too. And then it went, YouTube is whack, but either way, that was one of the more successful ones. I still thank Sam for that because he's made me realize maybe I should be contacting places like Brave Words or something. Problem is they have nothing to say about a no-name guy like me. Like I'm nothing. Yeah. It's really tough. Like I'm not in some cool band. Like, who's Brian Bauer?
That's like the opportunity that's like the opportunity I got like after Banger TV, right? Yeah. Like once you're on that, but then like it's how you take the situation. For me, it was just like, okay, whatever the comments were, it doesn't mean anything to me. As long as you use it as an opportunity to make yourself grow.
Exactly.
You win at the end of the day.
Everything's an experience though too, because you grow from the experiences of whatever it is. Like if you have a video, I've had a few things where people are like, oh, you did this too fast or something. Like, okay, I could have probably done this better. I had an experience like that. I can tell you about it after the fact, but I was involved with guitar playing, and we won't continue this on too much longer. We're about done. Yeah. But it is about, what do you do? What do you do with it? Everything's a learning experience, and you don't know everything. So I got one quick question before we go. For anybody trying to do YouTube right now, from your experience, do you got any advice or any positives or something like that? Something that you could tell people maybe they don't think about?
Yeah. Keep at it. And most of all, just be very genuine. Right? Don't do it for the, for popularity. Don't do it for the, for the likes. I mean, if people see that you enjoy what you're doing, people will come back. And I love tone matching. I love trying to try to accurately get the sounds of my favorite albums, because someday, like some people might be looking for it, right? And some people like to find those rare gems, right? Yep. I'm a fan too. Sometimes there are products I want to look up, and that's something that's nobody knows, but someone just did it. If you do the same thing, and you do it because you like to do it, everyone's a winner.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, I should just ask this one other question too. For somebody who maybe wants to review things, but maybe can't afford or something, would you recommend like to try to contact a company or just go buy it yourself and do it?
I would recommend that it's better that you try it out first, because like companies want to see that you genuinely like it, or because they will know if you just calling them if you want free stuff or you just wanted discounted products. They know. I mean, that's what a promotional campaign is. So basically the best thing to do is that, like, if you're a fan of the product, you actually like the product, you buy it and then you demo it and then tell the company what you're doing for them. Yeah. And when the company sees what you've been doing for them, and that they like what you do, the worst they can do is not reply to you, right? Yep. But on the other side, if they like what they're doing, they're gonna support you. And when you grow, they want to grow with you.
Exactly. And like you said, the worst that they could do is just not respond or something. I don't think they're going to go, ew, gross.
No, they wouldn't do that.
It's not dating.
They're too busy to go through that. I mean, the easiest thing to do is delete the email, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Cluttering up their Outlook. Okay, I think this is plenty for this video, and we're always over the hour at this point in time. Derryl, thank you. Yeah, I know, it does. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, and everybody should go, his links are below to his Bandcamp and his YouTube, so check out V and all that stuff because he writes cool music and stuff too, and we said we would also link Lou Bell because she's on his music, so we'll just link Lou Bell as well. Definitely. You can give me the link to that afterwards.
Will do.
And you know what? You can click the subscribe button here first, and then go over to his channel, click that. Yeah, so like wherever this is, on your screen, there's a subscribe button wherever it is on your phone or the computer. So you click that, you click the like button and the notification bell, because then you find out if we're screwing around online or not. Derryl, I know, will be back on the channel here at some point, that's for sure. Yeah, so do all the YouTube stuff, and me and Derryl will see you guys all later on. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.